Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
So it looks like we are kicking off top of the hour. We've got multiple attendees for our PTA Global Performance Suite, 5 things to look for in hiring and becoming a productive personal trainer. Super excited. Welcome, Bob. Welcome, Caesar. Welcome, Deanne. Welcome, Dan.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, David, Florence, Kalani, Kurt, Lisa, Noel or Noel. I apologize if I am mispronouncing that. Randy, good to talk to you again, buddy. See you there. Raymond, Shane. Got several people popping on. We are also on Facebook Live, which is kind of cool. So for anybody that is on Facebook, you guys can access our Facebook page, and the link is directly on that page under the Go To Webinar. Changing it up a little bit, same two-step with a little twist. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. You guys are all on mute, so I'm relying on your hand-raising abilities. We'll do a lot of questions and Q&A throughout the course of this webinar. A few people still joining, looking good.
And it shows that Israel is Karen Perlmutter, and I'm Israel Allen, but obviously I'm Karen Perlmutter.
Or are you?
And Israel, the name is swapped. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get kicked off as people kind of start to pour in. That typically is the nature of the beast, especially on a Friday. We've got trainers finishing up sessions. We've got managers jumping between sets or finishing up an orientation. We've got club managers finishing up tours. I know exactly how that goes. Finishing up some admin maybe before you kick off your Friday. So welcome. Team, super excited. My co-host, my sergeant in arms here, Karen Perlmutter. Karen, give us a howdy.
Hi, everybody.
So Karen's going to cover some amazing things related to our Performance Suite. So many of you may already have Performance Suite. Some of you may have it and just need to get a little bit more engaged, may have some questions, and so we'll have some Q&A time for that as well. But I would imagine most of you are joining this call for 2 specific reasons. You are either a club owner and operator looking to find out maybe something along the lines of, hey, what are the key ingredients? If I hire a trainer, what are the key ingredients that I should be looking for? And so we'll definitely touch on some of those. I'll give you some best practices from my experience. And then we'll also have a really cool promotion where you guys can actually post for free on fitnessjobs.com. So we'll have a little promo for that because we just partnered with them. So from a recruiting standpoint, you'll have that tool in your tool belt. You also might be joining us as a personal trainer, saying, hey, what are some of the things that I need as a personal trainer to become the most productive? Because time is money. And so, let's find out how many of you are actually personal trainers or club owners and operators. So what we're going to do here is do just a quick little poll, and you should be able to see it on your screen. And then just let us know. All right, so polls are coming in. Looking good. It's about split down the middle so far. Very good. So it looks like we've got about 57% studio club operators and 43% personal trainers. So actually a pretty good mix, almost half and half there. So that's important for Karen and I both to know who is our audience and what are the things that are going to be important to you coming off of this webinar. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get kicked off. Karen, do you want to segue into the amazing tool that is Performance Suite?
Absolutely. So welcome everybody again. I'm going to share our Performance Suite with you. At the end of the webinar, my contact information will be there for you. So if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'll be happy to give you a more in-depth tour. But our Performance Suite is a program for health club owners and operators. There's education literally for every single person on staff. So if you're looking to hire a trainer or hire anybody at your gym, you have a wealth of education at your fingertips to be able to interview someone and have them go through a particular amount of education and tell them once they're done to come back, and then you can hire them. They're going to go home and get that done, which is awesome, or they're going to go home and they're not going to do anything, and it didn't cost you any money because you didn't hire them anyway. But anyway, you will have the tools that you need to go ahead and recruit. So we talk about increasing revenue. We make it easy by giving you the tools to be able to recruit and onboard. We also, in our Performance Suite, we do have our NCCA nationally accredited PTA Global certification for trainers. So you get a greatly reduced price on the PTA Global certification. In the Performance Suite, all the continuing education credits are unlocked. And as you probably know, all your Group X and all your personal trainers every 2 years need 20 hours of continuing education, and it gets quite costly. So in the Performance Suite, what we do is I unlock all of them. So that helps with staff retention. And what I mean by staff retention is so many clubs have trainers with expired certifications, but they keep them because they're really good trainers. Or you have the trainer or Group X that quits because they don't have the money to get recertified. So all the way around, Performance Suite is going to help with recruiting and keeping your staff. This slide here shows you that we do have education for everybody. So when you do sign up for Performance Suite, every single employee should have a username and a password, from the front desk to your membership sales, to the personal trainers, your Group X department, your maintenance department, childcare. Literally every single person that works for you, we will have education for them. And when you log into the Performance Suite, this is what it looks like. So there's lots of different tiles, just to give you a sneak peek, and it's all free. We have infant, youth, and adult CPR and AED. We have several customer service courses powered by Medallia. And Medallia is the company that does all the customer service training for Apple, Starbucks, Nordstrom's, the Ritz-Carlton, Mercedes-Benz, places that you go to where the customer service is over the top. It is health club related, and it speaks to the front desk, the trainers, the Group X department, the sales department, and the maintenance department on how to give your members the best experience. So again, with that education, I recommend the entire staff go through it. We do have a secure kids check-in if you have babysitting. We have how to increase personal training sales, how to sell health club memberships. We have a Group X certification. We have the Matrix Library, Hyperice, Hypervolt. There's a Trigger Point Foam Rolling Foundations course. There's just a wealth of education that we do have that is available. And then also every single employee gets a free membership to PT on the Net. And PT on the Net is the world's largest exercise library and resource center. One thing really valuable about PT on the Net is you might have your trainers doing private training once or twice a week, but with PT on the Net, your trainers have the ability to go in and create programs, and they can email them to their clients and say, on the off days, here's a great workout for you to do. Now the client is training 4 days a week, but they're really only paying for 2 days a week. They're going to reach their goals. The training works. They're going to sign up for more training, and then the club's going to make more money. The trainer's going to make more money. The client's going to achieve their goals, and it's just a win-win all the way around. It is mobile friendly, and it is tablet friendly as well. So when they do send these workouts to their clients, they will be able to see the videos on how to do it, and it's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. And I can speak on, since we have about a 50-50 mix of both owners and operators and trainers, I can speak from both. I discovered PT on the Net, gosh, it was 15 probably years ago. I'm dating myself a little bit. Just as a trainer, just to geek out on the exercise library and build some cool programs for my clients and do ton of research and get some CECs in the process, and was instantly hooked. I planned on 1 to 2 hours a day. I think I spent maybe 4 to 5, and this was during my my internship in college. But I never really knew all the other features and benefits until being from a club owner and operator perspective at 24 Hour Fitness. So once 24 Hour Fitness had this, it was like, candidly, it was like we had a Lamborghini, but we kept it in first gear the entire time, because we never really knew how much was involved with PT on the Net and what amazing things you could do, because a lot of times we were just in that first gear. We never really opened it up, pedal to the metal. But I'm telling you, if you are currently with Performance Suite and you just need to put it into the 4th, 5th gear and just open that sucker up on the road, Karen's absolutely the person to go to field those questions and truly get your team engaged in every way, shape, and form with this resource. Thanks so much, Karen. So I do want to figure out how many people are kind of familiar, at least, with this resource. And so we'll do just another quick little poll. And for many of you, you may be joining for some free education. We're going to be giving away some free education at the end as well. So that's always fun.
Israel, I just also want our purposes, we do have CPR and AED, sexual harassment prevention, and there's report cards for all education. So everything is trackable as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So cool. So let's see here. Go to questions pane. So let's take, looks like we got a quick question here. I'm going to open up our board. Maybe Randy and Alex. Oh, okay. Just saying Randy and Alex are on. I got you, man. Fantastic. So I don't see our poll, which is kind of weird. Let's go back to our dashboard, see if we can find that. Alrighty. Okay, good. So for any of you that aren't familiar with the show of hands, raise your hand using kind of the mouse clicker if you are familiar with PT on the Net or you currently use Performance Suite. A lot of hands going up. Good. Got about the 50-50, it looks like still. Yeah, about half and half. So definitely check out PT on the Net. Great resource. And then obviously at the end, we'll share our contact information. Reach out to Karen if you need any help with getting set up on Performance Suite or fielding any questions that you might have. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and rock and roll and get to the remainder of our call today. We're really focusing on, again, those 5 key ingredients. So we talk about bringing on new talent. We're specifically talking about the personal trainer role. And I always go back to why, right? We can talk about what we do, but we always go back to why we do it. And again, it was to solve problems. All businesses are created to solve problems. So this is what we do. So look at membership in a typical club model, a Crunch, a 24 Hour Fitness, an LA Fitness. Membership attrition is about 50%, and they know that when they build clubs, about a 50% breakage, right? And so they know that, okay, if they sign up 100 members, only 50 of them will actually work out. The rest will just keep paying their dues, but won't actually work out. It sucks. It hurts our heart. We want those people to get fit, but it is the nature of the beast. And it is what drives a lot of the profitability in the club model. The second piece of this is the PT attrition. And this is where we're really going to focus on today. 79% PT attrition in this industry. If I hire 10 trainers, 7 of them will leave within a year. For me, that's a staggering statistic. Every time I hear it, it gets me because we haven't gotten much better. I've been in this industry for about 20 years, and this was a very similar stat 20 years ago than it is today. And so that tells us a lot about the same challenges, the same simplicity of the business that we're not solving for. Again, it goes back to equipping our team with the right skills, hiring for the right skills, and making sure that we deliver what we promise. As a whole, again, some definitely better than others, but as a whole, we haven't put a significant dent in that. We're going to attempt to do some of that today on today's call if you take these things and apply them. The next stat that, again, goes in with PT attrition is PT penetration. So on average, around a 3 to 7% of our member base. Again, if you have 1,000 members, let's just use 100 members, right? Only 3 to 7 of those members are actually paying for personal training. So we have 93 to 97% of our members that are coming to the gym, 50% of them, right? But aren't seeing results. Why would I go and, get a sweaty t-shirt, go to a place that I feel uncomfortable with, do a program that I'm not quite sure that I'm confident with, just to get no results? And so the stats of the 50% drop off are very, very evident. And so for us, we want to solve that. We want to make moves in that. So how do we do that from a PTA Global perspective? Again, there's a lot of amazing certs out there, NASM, ACE, NSCA, and all of those are fantastic and rooted in science. What definitely separates PTA Global from many other certifications, and some of you may know on this call, is absolutely our focus on helping trainers to build their book of business. That is why they're quitting. That's the number one answer, and why trainers say that they left the industry is they just couldn't make enough money. And so that is absolutely what our specialty is. That's our focus. And how we do that is we get results by helping influence clients in a positive way through behavior change and equipping personal trainers to see that success fast enough in a shorter amount of time, rather than them waiting for it to eventually happen years down the line, because we know that statistically we're not going to hang on to them that long in most cases. So let's talk about the specific ways and how we do that. So the first thing, and what we're going to concentrate on today, is recruiting pipeline. So how to build that recruiting pipeline of talented professionals that jive with everything that we want them to personify, and the skills to actually help them deliver what we promise and be successful in their role. Second is to drive performance. We don't want trainers that are just bookworms and are great on science, but don't know how to actually engage our members and deliver results and build their book of business. So we teach them how to do that. That is our bread and butter. That is our focus. Is we want to see trainers make money and be successful, because that's what helps the industry. That's what helps our members. And then lastly, to create careers. We don't want trainers that have to work 2 and 3 jobs, which many of you on the call, exactly, you're shaking your head. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Very, very common in this industry, where I can't make enough money, so I got to get this side gig, or I got to do something completely different because maybe I don't think I'm that good. But we want to really create careers and keep great trainers. And so PTA Global absolutely is the best resource that I found in my 20 years. And I've only been on board with this company for 2 years, but I knew about PTA Global years prior, and it's like, this is the best out there. Again, my background is NASM, NSCA, ACSM, you name it. I had all those certs, but until I found PTA Global, I never really knew that there was a certification that existed that solved for all the things that trainers struggled with. How do I communicate? How do I develop soft skills? How do I help people with their mindset and barriers and excuses? And how do I make them feel empowered to go ahead and change their life? And all those things is, it's rare to see those things taught in a traditional certification. So let's go ahead and go into our 5 key elements here. So the first thing is, we know that they have to be passionate. Passionate about what? Passionate about helping people. So it's not just about passionate about fitness, passionate about how good they look in the mirror, passionate about getting to their personal next PR or goal. It's about passionate about people, because if you're passionate about people, the rest kind of falls into place, right? Because we're a service industry first. So if we understand how to listen empathetically, meet people where they need to be met, and overcome the natural fears, anxieties that people are going to have, whether it's in a sales presentation, whether it's in a conversation around retention and how to keep them, training with you, you've got to be passionate. Your belief as a personal trainer has to outweigh their doubt. And so the key element that I look for, number one, is, are you passionate about people? I can teach you the science, I can teach you the sales piece, but I can't teach you how to love other people. I can't teach you how to smile, right? You just got to know that. It's got to be in your DNA. It's got to be how you're wired. And so I vet that out first and foremost, because if you don't get people, you're not going to get this business. Application questions. So for half of you on the call right now, you're owners and operators. So you're in front of personal trainers that want to join your gym. For the other half of you, you're personal trainers that either want a career in fitness and are maybe looking for that, and maybe looking for some life hacks out of this call, or you're already in a great place of business, but you just want to make sure that you're edifying the key ingredients of a great trainer, a productive personal trainer. So one great question that I found that works really, really well at vetting this out is, what excites you? So if you're a trainer on this call, you're thinking me, right? But as an owner and operator, what excites you, personal trainer, most about this profession, and why? And just see what comes out of their mouth, right? If it's more about them and less about others and the impact they can make, then you may want to note that. A great example exercise, a specific role play that I found to be very beneficial in an interview conversation is, imagine that I'm a member on the floor right now. I have a confused look on my face, right? I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of looking around. How would you approach me, assist me, and then ask me if I was interested in training with you? What am I trying to find out there? Are they confident enough to have a conversation, an empathetic conversation with me? And are they going to be any good at prospecting? Because in building their business the first 90 days, they're going to have to get pretty good at that. This doesn't have to be perfect, but it shows me how much help they're going to need if I decide to bring them on board. Okay, prospecting is absolutely a critical skill to build their business. This question specifically can show you a little bit about what they're great at or what they might need some help with. The question that I always ask myself is, did they inspire me? Did they inspire me, or was it really awkward? Like the interaction was like super socially awkward for me. If it was awkward, I'm not going to want to train with them. And so I know that I'm going to need to coach them out and put them in a different role, or I'm going to need to bring them on board, and we're going to need to spend more time on that in their onboarding. Okay, so that's the first kind of application for productive PT. Second thing is, are they coachable? Okay, so coaching goes two ways. Can they deliver coaching and receive coaching? So let's get super specific on that. So can they give and receive coaching? Most personal trainers that come into this industry are not great, in my experience, at either of these. Even if they're good at receiving coaching, sometimes they're not good at actually doing anything with that coaching. Or sometimes they will turtle up in a coaching conversation, like they'll be agreeable, but then they'll become kind of resentful. For any of you owners and operators in the call, you might understand what I'm talking about. Trainers on the call, again, if it applies, great. If it doesn't, let it fly, right? So treat it like a turkey, take the meat and leave the bones. But I definitely want to reiterate the importance of your coachability will determine your success in this industry, especially your positional growth in this industry. If you want more out of this role, if you want to become an influencer, the tool, again, it always goes back to the tool. You don't have to have all these soft skills. We're not asking you to come in as a 20-year veteran. We're saying, can you use one thing to make you better in these skills? Absolutely. I found the one tool to be the best at this is the Kaizen 6. Kaizen is a Japanese word that literally means continuous self-improvement. The questions in the Kaizen are very, very specifically rooted in enjoyment. So here's the things that I really liked about what you did. Improvements, here's the things that I would have really liked to see, right? And then lastly, here's why. So again, always about the why. So again, you can apply this as a trainer to a client. You can apply it as a fitness manager or club manager to your employees, but it's here's what I like, here's what I'd like to see, and here's why. And then there needs to be a from, to, by, when. In other words, I need you to go from this behavior to this behavior by this time. It needs to be agreed upon. So there needs to be an impending event in which you want to see that change happen, or that you'll at least reevaluate that. So again, I'm giving you some very applicable, not high level stuff, very tactical things around how to improve your coaching and your coachability. The last piece that I'll share with you is make sure that there's a clear game plan and how they're going to deliver that plan. So if you're trying to get a team member from 2,000 to 6,000, or you're trying to get a client from 20 pounds to 10 pounds, down. How do we best communicate that? Because it's all in the delivery, right? It's all about how we say it, not what we say it. So it's one is I want to have a shared kind of how, like here's how we're going to do it. So it's not some head hurt that they're like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. And now the coaching conversation ends up being them feeling overwhelmed and resentful because they can't do what you want them to do. And B, it needs to be we focused, because this is a team approach. When you win, I win. When you fail, I fail. And I accept full responsibility in that as a leader. And so all communication needs to be we focused, we centric, team centric. And so I know common knowledge is not always common practice. And sometimes for many of you on the call, you're the best of the best. That's why you're on this call, because you're trying to get to the very best. You're trying to get 1% better, right? So for many of you, you probably already know these things. It's just a refresher. And a refresher can be just as powerful as some brand new knowledge that you learned, right? So I want to pause there to see if there's any specific questions on anything we've covered so far. I want to be able to field those in the interim. We lost our fun little poll ability. So show of hands, how many of you are currently PTA Global certified? I'm just curious on the call. Hands are going up. Good, good, good. Got a couple. Got a couple. Okay. Yeah, so for the ones that raise your hands, you jive with a lot of the things that we're talking about as far as communication and listen empathetically and changing behavior in a way that actually empowers the individual. For those of you that are not PTAG certified, again, I'm telling you, an amazing investment in your ability to upskill the way that you interact with human beings. It will forever change your life, and you will I'm a testament to this. You will become a better trainer, a better leader, a better husband, a better father, right? Because of your ability to understand and empathetically communicate to other human beings and then adapt your style to meet theirs. Easier said than done, but I promise if you've got the knowledge, it'll help. All right, so let's go and move through this. So we've got our passionate, they got to be passionate, they got to be coachable, resilient. We want them to be resilient. In other words, we got to be able to take our lumps. We got to be able to experience some failure, some no's, and be able to overcome that. A great question around resilience. And I love this movie. This movie is a caption from The Pursuit of Happiness, one of my favorite movies about, kind of a Cinderella story of someone that no one thought would make it. And the guy ends up being a multi-millionaire with a stock firm. And Will Smith just did such an amazing job of that. But we all need a piece of that to develop our grit. And that grit is, in my experience, is really what helps the longevity and successful autonomy of a trainer. Again, the key word is successful autonomy. Trainers come into this industry, just so you know, to not be jammed up. They want to work their own schedule. They want a lot of freedom, but then they fail. So how do you give them that autonomy, but not let them fail? And a lot of that has to do with their resilience and grit. It's their ability to overcome adversity. So great example question in an interview to look for the right candidates. What obstacles have you overcome to get you here? And how has that helped shape who you are? So again, I love this question. A lot of times this will open up the floodgates in someone's life story, which is super, super cool because we're hiring the human being. We're not hiring the resume, right? We're hiring the person, not the piece of paper. So this tells you a lot about the human being and what they stand for and all this stuff. So this is a great question that can really be very, very fruitful in an interview. All right, so we've got passionate, we've got coachable, we've got resilient, credible. We absolutely need our team to be credible. If customers don't trust us, they won't buy from us. Again, I'm going to tell you that one more time. If customers don't trust us, they won't buy from us. And so there's nothing more sketchy than having a trainer that's not certified or is certified in something that maybe is online, is not accredited. It would be like a doctor that never went to med school, right? You kind of be like, okay, but I'm not safe for you doing surgery on me, right? So it's kind of the same thing with someone putting their life in your hands, right, as a client to a personal trainer. And so one of the first things we know is kind of the stamp of approval is NCCA accredited. So owners and operators on the call, if any of your trainers are not up to date on their NCCA accreditation, please look to us at PTA Global to help you, to give them the continuing education, to give them the certification that they need to not only be credible, but also credible in the right things, the things that'll help them truly build their business, and as a byproduct, build your business. The second thing from an application perspective is we want them to be results oriented. Okay, it's nice if during the interview they come up with a personal story, previous experience. We want them to be focused on continuous growth, and so looking at what's the next education. That's where a lot of our continuing education comes in, our exercise and stress management, our behavior change and exercise course, our mindset performance course. All of these things show us a lot about a trainer's commitment to their self, because that's a reflection of their commitment to the clients. That's how I saw it. I always saw it as my trainers, like, that's my investment to me, because the better I am, the better I am for my people. All right. And it worked out pretty well. The last piece of this, as far as results oriented, is, and I said this before, you got to be focused on the kind of the 3 S's: sales, service, and science. And trainers are usually good at like 1, maybe 2 of these. They usually don't come into the industry with a lot of sales background, so that's usually kind of the weak spot for them. And so most of the time they'll kind of dodge around that. That again is going to be a big piece of where we help them to improve those skills in a way that they're really going to embrace, that doesn't feel salesy. I always say approach it with the heart sale instead of the hard sale, right? The heart sale versus the hard sell, because trainers are very heart driven. They're very passionate about helping people, and so it needs to jive with what they're about. And that's everything what PTA Global is. All right, so I'll pause there. Any specific questions from our attendees on anything that we've covered so far? So far, so good. Or someone's like typing. Okay, again, we'll have a chance at the end here to address and field those questions. But just kind of a question for the audience, and you can just actually type this in the comments section. So find your section, get your keyboard ready. How many personal trainers do you currently have? Feel free to type this away in the comments section. And I understand 50% of you are personal trainers, so this isn't really easier to put 1. Okay. 6 from Shane, okay. 15 from Bob, okay. Good. David, 5, okay. Randy with 40, and that's because he's got multiple locations. So there's a few people on the call that's like, whoa, that's a lot of people in one box. Randy's got several clubs, and so kudos to you, Randy, for knowing that number. That's the magic number. When you got multi-clubs, it gets a little hard, man. So 40. Okay, good. So here's the second part of the question. How many PTs do you need? And you don't have to get super mathematical and look at budget divided by a certain amount, although you can. Usually budget divided by 3K is kind of what we looked for in the industry standard. And so like if your budget is 30K a month of new revenue, then you know you need 10 trainers to drive that, right? But it depends on your model, right? If your FM is doing 50% of the business, yada, yada, yada. But you know how many trainers you're going to need to service, you know, all the 5 p.m. time slots that you're going to need, because everybody wants to train at 5 p.m., right? You can only have so many 5 p.m. time slots, all the 6 a.m. time slots, right? And if you have a bunch of part-time personal trainers that don't service prime time hours that you need, that's going to be a piece of the equation too. So the second part of the question is, how many trainers do you need ideally? So we'll pause, let you put this in your comments. Bob Wells, 15 to 20. Okay. Got about a 5 head count buffer there. Good. Nora, 3. Okay. And Nora, I'm assuming yours was what you need and not necessarily what you have, unless the comment came in late. David, 12 to 15. Okay. Randy, 12 per club. Okay. So you guys got some hiring to do, bud. Just knowing your club count. We need 3 to 4. Okay. Kurt, awesome. Thank you. Good. Good. So again, simple math, right? You know what you need. And so it's like, okay, now I pick up what you're throwing down is. So now we have to get after, you know, the right people, right? We don't just want to hire warm bodies. And so that's going to be kind of the next, you know, focus after this call is, hey, what resources do we have to be able to fill that gap, right? So we can hit our budget, so we can change the lives and affect the 93 to 97% of our member base that currently isn't working with a personal trainer, right? So again, let's recap. They got to be passionate. They got to be coachable. They got to be resilient. They got to be credible. The last is professional. And there's a video on YouTube. If you guys check out our YouTube channel, it's one of my favorite, and a buddy of mine saw it the other day, and he was just busting out laughing. We have a video that's called how to go from brofessional to professional. Because there's a lot of brofessionals in the business, right? A lot of brofessionals, like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to go through all the litany of examples, but you know what I'm talking about. And so how do you hire someone that is the great representation of your brand and is truly a personal training professional? So let's talk about it. So one is we know that they're on time. Okay. So application wise, again, if they're late for the interview, that's not a great sign. It's not a completely, you know, stuff happens, but again, it's got to be noted. Organized. Did they come fully prepared with questions? One of my favorite questions to ask is, what questions do you have for me? And then the person says, no, I don't have any questions. Okay. Well, thanks for coming in. So I want someone to be inquired about our business. I want this to be a win-win relationship, not one-sided. And so it shows a lot to me about the heart of the individual if they have questions for me and their intent. And then also, you know, the caliber of the question that they ask is also pretty good, a pretty good, you know, litmus test. So folders and schedule, again, if they're disorganized and all disheveled, coming into the interview, you can probably expect that their client folders and their client schedule is not going to be wiretight. So again, if you hire them, cool, I get it, right? Maybe that wasn't an area that they were great at. Maybe it was slim pickings of the candidates, but know that you are really going to have to coach them up on that skill set. Otherwise, the clients are going to suffer in the process. The business is going to suffer in the process because how you do one thing is how you do everything, all right? So I want to make sure that that's something that we can identify in an interview, and we have kind of a system of helping that team member if we decide to bring them on board with the skill sets that you know, they're a little rough in. In uniform, again, this is a profession. We're not coming in tank tops and Daisy Dukes, right? Unless that's your gym model, and then you know, all power to you. Yeah. So in uniform, we definitely want to be in uniform. That's a sign of professionalism. And so again, in their interview, it'll tell us a little bit about them. If they come in shorts and a half shirt, yeah, it may not be the right candidate. You know, but again, these are some obvious things. Systematic is, I think, the big piece of this is trainers need to be efficient and productive. And so in order to make a productive personal trainer, there needs to be a system. System essentially stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money. We know that time is money, and if you're an owner and operator, you've got a certain amount of labor dollars, and as a personal trainer, just know that your time is always being evaluated, and it's very easy to get drained in this profession because you're working harder and not smarter. Again, I was trying to do both as a personal trainer, but I was taking naps in my car. My first client was at 5 a.m. My last client was at 10 p.m. I was freaking bare. But it's because I loved what I did and I had a family feed. And so you may not be in that same boat, but just understand that you'll get out what you put in anything. But it's always better if you have a system. Always, always, always. And so at PTA Global, that's what we're all about. We are all about saving time, saving money, creating a system, giving you a tool, giving you a resource, right? So that you can be more efficient and more productive. That is what we're all about. So to recap, we want them to be passionate. We want them to be coachable, resilient, credible, and they got to be a professional. So if you're just joining this call, or if you join this call, you know a little bit about us, you may not even know the services that we provide. As a Performance Suite partner, as a concierge service, PTA Global works alongside Performance Suite to deliver continuing education, workshops, because we know that most people, most human beings are kinesthetic learners. They learn hands-on. It's the difference between learning something online and just seeing it versus actually making it stick and changing behavior and now learning a new skill set and doing something with it. So it's application, application, application. There's 3 new workshops that we are delivering. One is our Solutions and Sales workshop, which is one of our most popular right now. The second new one we're rebranding as our Rapid Results Next Level Programming course. Used to be our ESM course. And the third is Train to Retain, which we know for the seasonality is so important, for the industry is so important. And so Train to Retain, how to keep clients longer. Those are kind of our 3 newer courses. Some of the different offerings here up on the screen in front of you that we offer as well. Last but not least, hopefully some value add, some things that you can always take away with you, some nuggets from old IA, some shade tree wisdom or Karen Perlmutter, but also something to leave you with from a tangible recruiting resource that maybe you didn't have before this call. Fitnessjobs.com, we have partnered with fitnessjobs.com. We are so excited about this because as a preferred partner with PTA Global, they have given us essentially carte blanche to give away this code to all of our preferred partners so that every club owner and operator that's watching this call, and you guys, this is an exclusive group because we're not just sending this out. So everyone that is on this webinar, you guys get this, okay? You're going to use the code PTAG COMP, PTAG COMP. That is going to give you 12 months of free job posting on fitnessjobs.com. So you may already be doing LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and some of the other big names, but this is one more pole in the pond to help get you the right candidates. A great resource. Make sure you're jotting this down. Again, this is between a $300 to $1,000 value because it's not cheap to carry these postings annually. So hopefully this is valuable to you for each of you that joined this call. The last piece that I want to do is we always open it up for any Q&A. It could be anything around Performance Suite, anything around PTAG, but the last kind of minute or 2 here, I want to answer any questions that you might have. So feel free to shoot those questions my way and I will do my best to answer those.
Me too. I'm here.
Yes.
Okay, so I think I got one more early. Go ahead. Figure it out.
Okay. So it looks like 1 coming in, 2. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay. So no questions. So I know a lot of times on these calls, you may reflect on some of the topics and then instantly you're like, I got a question. So I want to leave you with a quick quote and then I'm going to leave you with our information as a follow-up. So again, one of my favorite quotes here, very applicable to hiring. When it comes to hiring, don't be upset by the results that you didn't get with the work that you didn't do. It is an investment. It's an emotional investment. It's a financial investment to not only bring on the right person, but to onboard them a way that they're going to be successful. Onboarding many times is going to take having the right resources. PTA Global is one of the best resources I've found to onboard that team member in the right way with the right education that's going to help them build their business. Again, retention of personal trainers is going to help with retention of clients. If you have any specific questions, my information and Karen's information is right up here on the screen. Again, you may have some questions following this, as you reflect on this. Please feel free to email us. Let us know. We are here to help you. We're in your corner. We want to see you successful because when you win, we win. Thank you so much for your time on a Friday. Hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the very near future. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Don't be shy. If you have any questions, you can call me, you can email me. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Israel.
Thanks, Karen.